Hey there everybody, High Mileage Rider here, and as the title of this video says, I'm leaving work right now and we're driving over to Barnes Harley-Davidson. I'm going to be test riding the 2021 Harley-Davidson Pan America Special. If this is something that interests you, we'll be right back. So here we are arriving at the Barnes Harley-Davidson dealership in Edmonton. I know the sign says Heritage Harley-Davidson, but Barnes bought them out. They just have not changed the signage yet. And here is our ride for the day, the 2021 Harley-Davidson Pan American Special. Let's have a look and insert some pictures of this bike. Okay, before we head out on this ride, I'm just going to do some adjustments to the bike. It does seem like the handlebars are very, very low, and the mirrors therefore won't go up quite as high as I need them to, but I'm sure that's just an adjustment by loosening the 4 bolts on the clamp and rolling the handlebars up. The initial feel of the bike is it's quite light, very responsive to input. As we drive through town, the bike initially seems to have very good feel, very good manners. Everything is where you would expect it to be as far as layout of the bike. As we come up to this corner, I'll try using mostly rear brake just to see how it is. And oh my gosh, is that ever a mushy rear brake. It is just a single piston caliper on the rear, which is not surprising that the rear brake is not great. We're going to merge on the highway here, and we're going to get up to highway speed and see how she feels on the highway, how stable she is. Today's going to be a rainy ride. I picked today for my test ride because all of the videos that I've watched so far on the Pan America, people are riding in 80 to 90 degrees, bright sunshine, no wind, absolutely perfect weather. You can't really tell much about a bike, especially an adventure touring bike in my opinion, when the weather is perfect. You want to do these test rides when the weather is absolute crap, to see how the bike's going to respond. How's it going to handle excessive wind, excessive rain? How are the brakes going to be, the steering, and the feel of the bike? Right now it is not raining, but as you can see ahead of us, we do have imminent rain clouds. They're calling for 60 to 70 km/h winds and thunder showers. Now you'll notice that on this video I'm doing a voiceover for the audio, and that's because when I originally recorded this video, the wind and later the rain were so strong that it made it hard to hear what I was saying. As you can see, the rain is starting to fall as I leave the highway onto a secondary road. Just to give you some stats about myself, I'm 6 feet tall. I have a 34-inch inseam. Just so you know where I'm coming from when I'm talking about placement of controls, height of the bike and such. I've been riding adventure touring bikes for the last 3.5 years. I had a V-Strom 1000 and now I have my Yamaha Super Tenere ES. I've ridden about 110,000 kilometers on adventure bikes in the last 3.5 years. The majority of that has been on-road with very mild off-road riding. As we drive along here, you can see on the screen I'm getting an error message, and that's because I'm trying to switch into the rain mode. The people at the dealership told me to do this by going through the settings menu, and of course the message I got was, settings are locked while in motion. I'm sure there's another way to put the bike into different modes while you are driving. It's a little concerning to me that the people at the dealership didn't know enough about the bike to tell me how to do that. They just left me to my own devices, but hopefully that's something Harley-Davidson will remedy as they continue to roll out this bike. Hopefully they will make sure that the salespeople and also the service department know what they need to know about this motorcycle. Sorry about my fingers on the lens, I'm just trying to keep it clean so you guys can see better during the review. Again, this is a ride review of the Harley-Davidson Pan America Special, so I will give you some specs, but the rest you can look up on Google. As everyone knows, this is the 1250 Revolution Max 60-degree V-twin motor. It has a claimed 150 horsepower with 94 foot-pounds of torque. It has a 19-inch front wheel and a 17-inch rear. The big claim for this bike is that it has the hydraulic valve lash adjuster, so there's no valve maintenance to do. And there's an option to get the adaptive ride height, which will lower the rear of the bike by 1 to 2 inches, depending on what you have your rear preload set at. It has multiple drive modes, including different custom modes. It has all the full suite of electronics as far as linked ABS, tire pressure monitoring, 6-axis IMU. It has an Öhlins steering dampener in the front, although that is a mechanical steering damper, not electrically assisted. It has a semi-active suspension, 320mm dual rotors in the front with 4 piston calipers, and a 280mm rear disc with a single piston caliper. It has a 6.8-inch TFT and a 20-liter gas tank. It is a chain final drive. And on this special, we have the option of the cross-spoke wheels and the adaptive ride height. As I come to a stop at this light, I can really tell the adaptive ride height kicking in and lowering the bike down. I go from being on my tiptoes with the seat in the highest position down to flat-footed as I come to a stop. As you can see, the rain is coming down even harder now. As we get going on the road here, there's about 1 to 2 inches of standing water on the road, and the winds are quite high. And I got to tell you, this bike handles itself beautifully in inclement weather. As we ride down the road here, and the wind is gusting and the rain is pounding, it lets me realize just what a wonderful job Harley-Davidson has done at engineering this motorcycle. Not once during this ride have I ever thought about what I'm doing as far as inputs on the motorcycle. The bike is sure-footed, very confidence-inspiring in bad weather for the first time me being on it. The reach to the handlebars, although the handlebars are low, the reach is good. The TFT display is clear, precise. I can see all the information I need. The windscreen provides good protection. Could be a little bit wider to keep the wind blast off my chest, but I'm sure that's something that will be covered in the aftermarket. My reach from the seat to the pegs with the seat in the highest position is very good. It's very comfortable. My back is straight. The seat seems comfortable for this short initial ride, but that's something that people usually look at in the future with aftermarket saddles, and I'm sure Harley-Davidson will come up with their own. Here I'm stopping on the side of the road because I really want to put the bike into rain mode to see the difference in throttle response. And unfortunately, the only way I've been told to do it is to go through the settings menu. There is a little bit of a lag, I notice, when switching the bike from one mode to another, going through the settings menu. I'm sure the bike is in rain mode, but it did not read it immediately. With the bike now in rain mode, I do notice a distinct difference in throttle response, and I like it. I like it a lot. I'm sure that all of the other modes are equally as impressive when you switch between them. Because this is a demo bike and because the weather is not quite as good as a lot of people would like, I've not been too crazy with this motor. I'd love to rev it right up and see what she's got, but this motor has more than enough power for the highway for what the vast majority of people are going to do with this motorcycle on the road. As I ride along here, one of the questions I ask myself is, would I buy this bike for myself? You'll have to wait till the end of the video to hear that response, but my initial thoughts are, given that I ride 30 to 35,000 kilometers every 5 to 6 months, or say 22,000 miles, reliability and serviceability are two of the biggest things for me in an adventure bike. Will this motorcycle have the dependability, serviceability of the other adventure touring bikes on the market? Only time will tell. But it looks like Harley-Davidson has done an absolutely amazing job with their initial foray into the adventure touring market with this Pan American Special. So as we're back in the city now and heading back to the dealership, I'll leave you with some final thoughts. Unfortunately, we were unable to do a pull over at the side of the road and pull out the cell phone to give you a close-up of the bike because of the pouring rain and the fact that I don't think my cell phone is waterproof. But I've been very impressed with this motorcycle. I think Harley-Davidson has hit it out of the park with this adventure touring bike. The standard equipment and the optional equipment that you can purchase on this bike are very, very good. The ride is amazing. The ride quality, the pull of the motor seems pretty good. Wind protection, TFT display, information that you can get from the TFT display, ergonomics. I'm sure because Harley has such a wide dealer network and they have always been known for their aftermarket support. Within a few months there will be a vast array of products to dress this bike up any which way that you like. Yeah, I've been very, very impressed with my ride on this bike. I'm surprised they did such an amazing job at building an adventure touring motorcycle. Okay, well, I'm back home, everybody, all dried off after my ride in the rain, and I just thought I'd give you some final thoughts on the 2021 Harley-Davidson Pan America. Again, this is only my point of view. Everyone else may feel differently, so don't go crazy if you don't agree with everything I'm saying. So, just as a recap, it is obviously a 1250cc Revolution Max motor, with 150 horsepower, 94 foot-pounds of torque. It has the hydraulic valve lash adjusters, so you don't have any valve train maintenance to do. It's also got the adaptive ride height as an option, which can adjust your ride height by 1 to 2 inches, depending on what you have your preload in the rear set for. It has an inverted front fork, 7.5 inches of suspension travel in both the rear and the front. You've got your tubeless, spoke-laced wheels. It's roughly 534 pounds wet without luggage, so once you put 3 bags on it, fill them with stuff, you're going to be very close to a 600-pound bike. It has the Olin steering dampener in the front. The TFT is a 6.8 inch, and it is glove-friendly, and it does tilt. Looked like it tilted roughly about 1 inch total up and down to make it easier to read when you're standing on the bike. It has, of course, all the electronic goodies, electronic suspension, tire pressure monitoring, traction control, and a 6-axis IMU, just to list a few things. The rest you can find out through Google. It has multiple modes. It even has a few modes that you can set up custom for yourself. It was a very, very nice bike to ride, and it was awesome being able to ride it in the pouring damn rain with about 2 inches of water on the road to see how it would feel, because anybody can ride a bike when it's beautiful outside. A few things about it though, as I mentioned while riding. The kickstand, fucking annoying. They put the kickstand lever right underneath the shifter. So when I stopped in the pouring rain and put the bike in neutral so that I could switch driving modes into rain mode, I went to put down the kickstand and I hit the gear selector, put it into first, and of course, because the kickstand was down, the bike stalled. I'm sure it's something you would get used to, but I don't know who designed that. The other thing I noticed is, while the bike is awesome, rides very well, the motor has more than enough power,
I personally find it very hard to believe that that bike is 150 horsepower and 94 foot-pounds of torque. I met someone coming out of the dealership who had test rode it last week, and the salesman told him there that it was 125 horsepower. That's more of what I would believe. It did not pull any harder than my Super Tenere, which is 120 horsepower. It definitely does not pull as hard as a BMW 1250 GS, which is 140 horsepower, and it's nowhere near the power of a 1290 Super Adventure, which is 168 horsepower. Not that you need that much power, not that anyone should be going that fast on a public road, but I think they may have exaggerated the power and foot-pounds of torque in the press release. But so I'm sure someone will make a comment and say, Daryl, you're full of shit. It's got amazing power. And it does, assuming you've never ridden any other modern adventure bike. I really, really like the bike. Would I consider buying one myself? No. And the main reason why is the Super Tenere behind me, as it is kitted out with everything on it, is $18,000 out the door. So, to now want to spend $32,000 out the door or $13,000 more? No. It wasn't that amazing. The price, as I said during the GoPro videos, the price of the Pan America Special Edition with the lace-spoked wheels and the ride height adaptability is $28,400 plus tax, puts you at just over $30,000, and then you have to buy bags for it. Harley Davidson, they are not available yet. They will be available in September, but they're saying it's $2,500 Canadian, including tax. That puts you at $32,500. That is more expensive than a GS Adventure, a KTM, a Ducati Multistrada, the Triumph Tiger, or my Super Tenere. It's about $5,000 to $6,000 more than those other ones, and $13,000 more than my Super Tenere. So for that reason, I would not buy it. But if money is not an option, absolutely I would consider it if I had money to burn, because it is a very nice bike. Yeah, that'll be up to you as individual purchasers, whether you think it's worthwhile or not. I hope you found this video informative. I hope you enjoyed the fact that we rode in horrible goddamn weather, so you know that the bike is made for horrible goddamn weather. It is an adventure bike through and through. As I said, Harley has done a wonderful job with making this bike. They've shown that they can make a bike with modern technology. I think this will be a really good sales bike for them worldwide, and it would be wonderful, as I said earlier, to see that motor or a smaller version of that motor, say a 975, in the Bronx. Anyways, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If not, do what you got to do, and we'll see you in the next video.